Hey y'all, how you doing? So here we are. It's Monday, the 23rd of March. It's Dave from Flash and Dance DJ and Production Services. So I have been going through a lot of stuff over the last couple of days, and I sort of did a blunder. When I decided to relaunch my YouTube channel, I had shot a couple of videos that day and they were not in their proper folders, unfortunately, so I didn't realize this. So when I did last week's gig log, which was this from the 16th is the date that it launched. It's when the ones that I did on 128 and 228. So what I mean by that is those were real gig logs. Those were not what I shot for that was 100% real. So what ended up happening was I ended up finding the one that I had already previously shot, the two videos that I shot for that same time frame. They were just shot on for 3/7 when I relaunched the channel. So that particular day was the day that I think it was that Sunday. I had shot like 3 or 4 videos in a row. I just threw them into a gig log, virtual folder that I had, and I didn't realize it because they were labeled like IMG 5455 and 5457. So I didn't realize what those were. Anyway, I digress. So what you're going to see in this gig log today is you're going to see those videos from that time, and then I decided that since it's only a 2-minute video, but my prep video was almost an hour long, that it was an hour long, I didn't want to subject anybody else to another 3 minutes. So I decided to add it as a bonus clip. What you're going to see in the behind the scenes time lapse is you're going to see me talking to my phone. You're going to see me doing all kinds of prep. You're going to see the camera move a couple times. So with that being said, let's get into it. Hey yo, it's Dave from Flash Dance. So, as I have mentioned, I want to keep this real and just let you guys know that I've been wanting to get back into this. Like I've said in a few videos, I am going to revisit one of my favorite events I did so far this year. I've done a couple of DJing ones. I've done a band one. Last night I did a comedy show for a good close friend of mine who, as I mentioned, will be sprinkled in throughout these videos. His name is George. He owns GS DJs, lighting and DJ services, and he's the house guy for one of our local venues. And there's times where he gets bigger shows that come in and he'll ask me to do the bigger shows that require more of a production aspect versus a DJ aspect. Not for any specific reason. It's just that he knows I work with bands. It's where my passion is in life. However, I will never forget my roots of starting as a DJ with my uncle when I was 8 years old. So anyway, I digress. So a good friend of mine, Jonathan, he that I went to school with, he was a neighborhood friend. He messaged me sometime last year. Obviously, I try not to really do too many events in January and February. However, the business just is on an uptick right now. Hopefully that's a good sign for this year. I keep my thoughts and prayers about that going on with everything else going on, which that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about equipment. We're here to talk about having fun and running a production company type thing and DJ servers. So with that, let's get back into it. So it was for him. It was a 75th birthday party, if I remember right. And so what ended up happening was it was a local venue, and this is me inside, and I think most people will tell you who work within this industry, whether a DJ, production company, sound, lighting, a 1 hour set time, meaning to set things and get ready for an event, isn't always easy. It can be depending upon what you do. However, for me, one-man show, setting up audio, setting up lighting, that kind of stuff, took a little bit longer than I wanted. Ended up taking me, to get audio up and running, it took me about 45 minutes, perfectly fine. I did use my subs in the end because they were already in the room. It was just going to be easier. That's the one thing nice about now having a trailer, is I can take all my cases and stuff if I'm in a small venue, throw them back in the trailer. So anyway, good night, good vibes. Like, I only had one minor flub that whole night, and I don't know if I already posted it or not onto Mixcloud, but I will post a link to the mix below in the show notes. And basically, I was all over with the music, and not once, I think maybe once or twice, because I played a couple of line dances, but I don't think I played one straight up, maybe for cocktail and dinner, I played straight up songs. But once open dancing started, I didn't touch on one straight up song except for the line dances, like I said. And maybe if it was like a classic disco or something like that. But like, I myself have gotten into doing more of like mashup. And when I say mashup, it's the beat of one song with the lyrics of another that fits well. Like Levitating, for example, prime example of that. There's a mix of that I have that I really truly enjoy. So I had done that, and it actually, surprisingly, as much as there wasn't that much of a dancing crowd, it was a great night overall. It took me about 35 minutes to get out of there. The cool thing is, because I have the trailer, I went straight to my friend's house because it was just easier to do it that night. Dropped off George's uplights, and then came back to where I keep my trailer and my equipment, dropped the trailer, went home, and that was a nice early night. So the big takeaway on that is I had gotten safety cable ramps this year. I got about 65 feet because I do a couple of outdoor shows. I do one for Ocean Spray. And then I had one in New Hampshire last year where I really could have used them. So that's the new thing for this year. And then I had used them at the top of the stairs just to put wires in, just to check them out for the first time using them at an event. And I'll tell you, what a difference. I got so many compliments when I was explaining what they were to the bartender, because she had gone into a closet that was up on the stage. She knew to step over it. But I will say this, and like I said in one of my other videos, I will repeat this again and again and again. Safety is paramount at all these events. You got people walking around, maybe wait staff or whatever. Cable ramps is gonna be the new fad. I can almost guarantee it. And yes, they have a yellow stripe. They may be red, they may be blue, they may be all kinds of colors, but typically they're black and the middle is a different color. Well, the ones I have an orange flip where you put the cables in. Well, here's the thing. Use it at a wedding. You're on gray or black carpet, they'll blend in. Yeah, sure, there'll be a saw thumb, but guess what? Have your assistant or you take like 5 minutes. That's all it takes. Get 4-inch gaff tape right over that strip. Now, nobody's the wiser of it. You might even lock that channel in so nobody can step on it and flip it up. So, with that said, I'm gonna say, keep that energy up. Keep positive thoughts out there. Treat everybody as you want to be treated, and I'll see you on the next one. How's everyone doing out there? It's Dave from Flash and Dance, DJ and production services. I'm sorry about the waving hand. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to talk about some old friends. I'm going to talk about different shows, but primarily this one is about last night. And as you can tell, this one seems like it has a little bit of different vibe to it, and that is because of something that happened at the event that I'm not going to go into depth completely in this video. I will at some point, only because it was a mistake, that should never have been made, and it was just dumb luck that it happened. So, long story short is I work in a partnership sometimes with another local area guy. His name is George. He runs GS DJs, and every once in a while he hires me in if he's got something huge going on, or he's got something on a bigger scale. Like New Year's Eve, I think we're up to 8 to 10 times we've done New Year's Eve at this particular venue. Same venue I was at last night. Anyway, so we talk about it. We figure out the logistics, meaning that I'm going to use my 2 QSE K10s. He's got 2 K10s. I want me, when I see something like that, I like it to look uniform. You're going to see the time lapse. I do have like a GoPro. It's actually an Aska Brave 4. Awesome little camera. It's great for pictures. It's great for time lapses, but it's not good. The microphone on it isn't that great. So I'm using my cell phone to shoot the intro and outro videos now. Or if I haven't done a video yet, you'll see the entire video on here. So needless to say, I will say that George came, he helped me set up the facade for my table, because he has it, he loves it, I love it too. It does nice block on whether you have a 4 foot, 6 foot, or 8 foot. Its minimum is 4 feet. It blows up to 6, and then it barely fits on an 8, but it does fit. So anyway, so I have my big giant blue road case, which has my Behringer wing rack in it. I have my 4 foot table, so I have my laptops out, so I have playback and wireless mics. I have my main production laptop, which I use that for different multifaceted things, which I'll explain. And then I have my Microsoft Surface that I walk the room with. So then running from my blue rack out to where the side of the stage is my battery backup, which is a CyberPower. And then I have one of the bigger ones. I think it's a 1500. And then I have my DL32 and a power Juice Goose power strip in there. And then on top of that, I had my wireless mics, my Shure ULXDs, or SLXDs, I'm sorry, because I was doing some research. At the end of the night while I was waiting to break down, I was doing a little bit of research, and this morning I was doing a little bit of research. So anyway, I get there on site for 12:30, 1 o'clock. George helps me with what he does. I set the time lapse up after he leaves to capture setting up speakers, doing audio, in the process of trying to get the monitor wedge, which was my Mackie SRM 450. My Surface died, so I'm like, oh. And then one of the famous things that happens is sometimes when you plug in your mains and your fill speakers, you plug them in backwards. That's exactly what happened to me. I flipped all of them. Fine, whatever. That's easy enough. It's basically unplug 15, 16, flip those. Then I had 14 and 13 are for my subwoofers, and then so then 12 becomes a fill, 11 becomes center, and 10 becomes my other fill. Perfectly fine. So I get all that sorted out. Everything sounded good. I got crossover set. Everything's great. Going through everything. Finally get my wireless mics hooked up. Get wireless workbench up. Do a rescan. Make sure the frequencies they're set at's good. Populate some new frequencies into them just as backups. Push those over. Do some firmware updates, which I know you're never supposed to do, but the firmware update that I did was a little bit different. The firmware update is when you make changes to the bases of those particular wireless mics. One thing that's cool, because you can sync those. You just go up to them, you hit the sync button, you put the microphone, and if you can get it to sit, which I did, you can get it to sit so both sensors are in line. You see a dial that's on the wireless base, and it'll tell you what percentage you're at. So I ended up doing firmware updates on both of those, because I turned on certain things, turned off certain things that I learned about. And so everything was fine. Everything was going great. Get into the event. Things are going good. Get about 90% through the one subtle mistake that happened was I turned around and I told the MC I handed off the wireless mic to her. And this is where, not with her, but this is where the issue popped up, was with the wireless mic. I handed off to her and I said to her, I go, this is your microphone. Keep this with you. The other comics are gonna use the hardwire that's up on stage. I don't know if she was oblivious, I don't know what, but what does she do when she finishes her opening monologue of the night? Gives the opening comedian the wireless mic. In my head, so they move the hardwire out of the way, and it started to cause a little tiny feedback. I don't know if it was rumble or it was too close to the wall, so I just muted it. It was fine because it would have just been and to unmute it if we would have needed it. And this was part of the first fault I had, was instead of me muting it, I should have just brought the volume down or muted the monitor mix. In any case, show goes along, everything's going, everything's good. Now, not thinking and not realizing this, I'm looking at Wireless Workbench and I'm like, oh, let's see what's going on with it and this and that. And I don't know exactly what I hit. I think it was analyze, which I should never have done. I am so upset with myself and beside myself with this. And luckily I was as quick as I was and realized what happened. Not even took 5 seconds to fix it. And this is where I should have left the hardwired unmuted. He went to grab for it, but I got the other wireless handed off to him. Not even 5 seconds of time elapsed. And the thing that I was amazed at, and this is the telltale of a true performer, he got the audience back, not even a half of a joke. As soon as he said, he goes, hey, I'm back. And then he goes into it, not even halfway through the next sentence, he had an applause. Like everybody in the place broke out in applause. So, you know, stuff happens and you gotta be super careful when you're on production stuff. And you wouldn't think something like that would happen, but it does. I'm sad about it. I'm upset about it, but I have to take it and move on. I even told George, you know, and this is one thing, if you take anything away from this, this is one thing that you have to do, and you have to be honest, is when you have an issue, you need to let whoever you're working for, and you pray that it's not a major disaster. You never want anything to happen, but if something does, don't sugarcoat it, don't lie about it, be honest and tell people about it. So I did that. I told George about it. I texted him towards the end of the night. I said, hey, by the way, my heart skipped a beat. And I said, this is what happened. And, you know, and it's just one of those things that it happens. And it's not meant to happen. And it's a high learning experience. And like I said, it's going to haunt me. It's going to haunt me for a long time, because it's, as much as it's something you want to do, you have to learn that the times you scan are before your microphone gets used, not while. If it's active, the only microphone I know that's on the market that no matter what's going on with it, as long as the bass can talk to its receiver, and I've heard stories of Angus Young actually proven that the Accent is one of the best units. I don't know exactly where he was. There's actually a tech video that's out there. His guitar tech was talking about it when they first got it. And you know, things have got to be very specific with that band. You know, when they were out and they were playing, things had to be specific because they're used to it being a certain way. So they got things dialed in. They went to I guess it was the first show on their tour or whatever it was, and Angus went walking around the arena. And then his guitar tech said no matter where he was in that building, I don't know exactly where he went, but wherever he was, the Axient never cut out. And from what I've read about Axient, you store like 5 or 6 channels in it, and it automatically, both the pack, whatever it is, handheld, body pack, guitar pack, whatever it is, even IEM, I think, those frequencies that live within the bass and the transmitter, they automatically switch. So if it's having a problem on one frequency, it'll jump to the next and it'll go right through all of them. And it doesn't end at number 6. It recycles and it starts back at number 1 and goes back through it. One of the best technologies. Super expensive technology. Like, to do it, it's like $6,000, $6 to 10 grand just for the bass. And then it's like $4 grand per microphone, or like $2 grand per body pack or something like that. So one of the things I noticed inside Workbench last night also, which I can show you at some point, was that you don't get true reference off of it. The only thing you can see in Workbench with those microphones is you can see RF signal. You can see how strong an RF signal, not just the vertical, but it tells you inside the software, it tells you what microphone is connected to the bass, and it says how long the batteries are. So the only thing that's really good right now with the SLX-D or Plus version of those, which is the new series, is that you can see that information. However, I learned from ChatGPT last night, after this happened, you know, and I was sitting back at some point, I messaged ChatGPT and I was just talking about different microphone types and brands and stuff. And apparently the only one, and it's called telemetry, the only one that gives you feedback telemetry over networking is the ULX-D, is where it starts, and it goes up from there. So one of the things that's in the back of my mind now is that at some point in time, and they're stupid expensive, I found something on Reverb. It's about $8 grand. It's a demo unit. I don't know where it's from. I haven't really looked into details about it yet, but it is a 1RU, and it has 4 handhelds with it. I was like, and I asked ChatGPT, and Chat said that the average receiver is anywhere from 5,000 or so up to around 7,000 to 8,000. And I was like, okay, this doesn't seem right. And then I explained it to Chat what I saw, and Chat was like, no, if that's a demo unit, that's a good unit to look into. So hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of the year, I'll have that $8 grand or enough on my Reverb through a firm to be able to drop the money on that, because I have some other plans that I'll talk about in another video. But yeah, so that was a hard one for me last night. You know, I'm still, like I said, I'm still thinking about it to this minute. I can see the minute that it happened, and I don't know why I did it. It's just one of those things, and I'm sure if George ends up seeing this video, which he probably will at some point, he can hear the regret in my voice. It's not something I take lightly. I take a lot of pride. Like, there was one night we were working together this was probably 3 or 4 years ago. We were doing a murder mystery or something, and I just couldn't get things right. And that night, I was sitting there. You could tell I was really upset about the night. And, you know, it was one of those nights that it makes you question, am I doing things right? Am I here for the right reasons? And now I can say, I'm here for the right reasons. Mistakes are inevitable, but don't make them in the future, and try not to make them. I will say this here, like I said, the comedian recovered. Luckily, that's the sign of a true entertainer. But when the comedian ended, I looked at my watch and I go, are you kidding me? If only I would have waited another 10 minutes to even think about that. I was like, oh, why? So, just goes to show we're all human, you know? It's just one of those things. And I did talk to George for another 20 minutes after the event on my way home, back to where I keep my trailer and my equipment. So with that being said, I'm going to say, keep that energy up. I'm trying to do that today. Keep that energy up. treat others as you want to be treated. Respect everybody. And, I'll see you on the next one. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's one of those things. This is going to be an evolution with me and my business and things that I'm going to do. So with that being said, I hope everybody will subscribe, and keep enjoying all this content I'm going to try and put together. Second thing is, don't forget, treat others how you want to be treated, and also make sure you learn one thing every day. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be for business, personal, and if you're married, in that relationship, if you're dating someone in that relationship, or whatever it might be. If you work a job, if you do social media, like for example, one of the things that I'm learning now is, and I'll do this for a tech tip, which will probably be in the next couple of weeks, how I'm slowly going from Waves Tracks Live over to Reaper DAW. So with that said, hope to see everybody on Wednesday for Tech Tip Wednesday.